Although every shlok, every verse in the Bhagavad Gita is important, we generally do not distinguish between one verse being more important than the other one. Every word Lord Krishna has spoken about the Gita is important. But still, we all have individual realizations according to our own situation. Sometimes we think that one verse is particular, meant for me, for my situation, for my level of realization, or certain questions I might have. So this particular verse has been very interesting for me and still is. Here Lord Krishna states, 9.4. We have a Gita here that you can also chant. Oh, okay, no problem. Maya tadam idam sarvam jadadavyakta muritina nasthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. You translate simultaneously, or shall I do sentence at the same time? Every structure shows itself by close examination as creation of as a dynamic happening or process. Every process creates, if limited by time and space, forms. And these forms remain for some time and exhibit regular characteristics. Yeah.
You want a child to reply?
Huh?
A child?
Yeah, it would be really respectful. And that's already a very interesting point. How does Krishna really pervade this entire universe? He states here very clearly that his consciousness is present everywhere. And that, of course, nothing is formless. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada explained, in the Lord's or God's creation, nothing is formless. Everything has a form. And here Lord Krishna also uses the same thing, avyakta. Avyakta, murtina, seems to be a contradiction. Avyakta means not manifest. But then murtina means form. Not manifested form. Quite interesting. So how does Krishna pervade everything in his creation? And I would like to talk a little bit about this point. The static and dynamic aspects of reality are in polarity to each other, completely depending on the observer. Now, take for example, any object, this, how do you call this, putla, how do you call this in English? A tree or something. A case for the glasses. Now this case, for us, it appears to be static. There's some solid, static object. You cannot look through, you cannot walk through with your head. This is how we perceive it. But then take, for example, the small microbes, like an electron, of the magnitude or size of an electron, small, tiny, living entity, which would have the size of an electron, so small, it would perceive this piece of solid matter. What's happening?
For the ladies to
sit with the children outside and then they can hear the lecture also. So, if the door is open.
Yeah. So let us arrange everything first and then we can continue. You have to do something now?
So because the noise comes from the highway, huh?
I mean, you have to do something now, or?
I think we will.
We got it?
Yeah.
Okay. again back to this. Now this microscopic, like a small tiny entity, would perceive this in a completely different way. It's not a solid object at all. It just sees. Let me see how this is being described here. Yes, because we do not perceive the enormous dynamic of the atoms and subatomic particles. Like these subatomic particles, they are moving in an incredible speed. Like it would, I don't know how to describe it. You can imagine some kind of particles flying around at a tremendous speed all the time, like this. This is how this small tiny entity would perceive it in this way. They can easily walk through, like a forest. It would just walk through a forest of all kinds of, subatomic particles flying around at an incredible speed. Einstein already transcended the strict separation of space and time. Space and time are relative terms that depend on the size and speed of the observer. For instance, we have the story of King Kukutmi. He went to Lord Brahma's planet. He was looking for a husband for his daughter, because his daughter was incredibly tall, like 6 times taller than any man, even the tallest man. Then he thought what to do. Went to Brahma Loka to consult Lord Brahma. I'm going to find a wife. A husband for my daughter. She's so tall. And he was waiting for 10 minutes on Brahma Loka, according to his time and space and everything. And he was waiting for 10 minutes. Then he had the audience of Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma reminded him that you were waiting here for about 10 minutes, but on your planet right now, 10 minutes did not pass, but 10 and even more kalpas passed. And the people, they will not even remember your dynasty, the name of your kingdom. They will not even remember that. So much time passed away. So here we can clearly see how relative the time is, and how different living entities, according to their capacity and the magnitude, lifespan, how they perceive things, entirely different. So what is really reality, and how do things really work in this world? It's just amazing. Like take our human body, for instance. There's so many things going on, we have no idea how this works. How our hairs are growing, it's a mysterium. On our head, the hairs grow all the time, and you need to cut it constantly. But then our eyebrows, they only grow a little bit at the beginning and then they stop. Who tells you the cells of the hairs? Now here, when you're situated on the eyebrows, you're supposed to only grow a little bit and then stop growing. Who's arranging this? Imagine our eyebrows grow all the time. A little bit inconvenient. And our bones, it's unbelievable, with a symmetric, like a mirror reflection. All by chance, happening by chance. Why is the thumb of my right hand not on this side? What's the problem? Why exactly? Amazing. And take for example our skull and brain inside. As an infant, everything is so small. And then the brain and the skull around the brain grows simultaneously, perfectly. If the brain would grow a little bit, tiny little bit faster, you just, disaster. Or if the skull would grow a tiny bit faster, over this span of 4 or 5 years, the brain would explode under the pressure of the skull. So precise, or the rib cage also growing. The ribs of a child would grow a little bit faster, would just penetrate the skin at one point. Everything is so precisely, so perfectly arranged. Or, chemicals, that's another example. Very interesting. How is it possible that one chemical feels attracted and wants to combine with another chemical, but not with another one? Because it will not work. Some chemicals do not combine itself. What is the inherent information in that particular chemical? How does it understand its own quality? I possess these certain qualities which will not match with the qualities of the other chemical. Who's telling these? The chemicals are not living entities, they have no brain. They don't understand their own qualities and the qualities of other chemicals. Who's arranging that attraction and distraction? It's all done by Krishna. His consciousness is all pervading, touching everything, and he is arranging everything, any phenomena, whatever happens in this world, including our own physical body, whatever happens inside. Most of the time we have no idea what goes on, although we think we are this body. Then you should know if you are your body, you should know something about your body. There's so many things we don't know. You have to go to the doctor. I have this pain. What is it? What goes on in my body? Most of the time they also don't know. Try this medicine, try that medicine. Even Ayurveda, I don't want to blaspheme Ayurveda, but I have very bad experience. Well, it doesn't have to be like that, but that's my life, very bad experience. Each time I went to even very traditional Ayurvedic physicians, they don't even charge any money, nothing, everything for free. And the same thing happened over and over again. You take this box of Ayurvedic medicine and then take it throughout the year. Next year you come back and let's see. And nothing really works. So, but then something, or somebody has to know something about our body, how things are functioning and working. Again, they want to tell us by chance. Come on, and let us get serious. By chance. If by chance, then why is everything so precise, so perfectly organized and arranged? If everything happens by chance. So this random chance theory, Srila Prabhupada was so much against it. Each opportunity he had, he just smashed it to pieces again and again. What is this chance by chance? Everything is perfectly arranged, perfectly organized. And Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. Any question you have related to the phenomena in this world, universe, how things work, it is done by me. Here again he states, I pervade the entire universe, all beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So this pantheism also doesn't work. Everything, you take everything together, that is God. He says, no, I'm apart, away from everything you perceive here in this world. All living entities, yes, but I'm apart, I'm separate from everything. So again, directly against this impersonal philosophy. God, his identity is being spread out throughout the entire creation. Everything is God. No, he keeps his separate identity, and he arranges everything to happen. So this always, caught my attention, this particular verse, and any thoughts related to it. Another point is the DNA information. Who was it? What is his name? Microsoft, what is his name?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. He made an interesting statement. He said that the human body contains about something like 1 trillion cells, the human body. And each cell contains more sophisticated information. One cell, more information than the most sophisticated software Microsoft so far developed. Can you imagine? Some of these Microsoft softwares are very extremely complex. Unbelievable what these softwares can do nowadays. The calculation process in it is unbelievable. The whole search function, you type in one word, in 1 second you have tons of information. It is unbelievable. Computer technology nowadays. And he claims that just one cell, more sophisticated, contains so much more complicated informations than the most developed software. And just one cell. And we have trillion cells. And they all have these incredible complex informations. Again, everything happens by chance. Impossible. And because it's so complicated, so sophisticated, that this is why they become atheists. Because they cannot imagine that one being is behind everything. How does it? This is impossible. No entity can ever possess such a brain. But Krishna, he claims, no, sorry, I'm behind it, whether you like it or not, whether you understand it or not. I have that brain. So when one comes to, by sort of analytical study, observing the phenomena in this world, how things work, how complex everything is, and if one develops a little faith in Krishna's own words, that I'm behind it, then he begins, as Krishna states, he begins to actually worship Krishna. And that, of course, intellectually cannot be really understood. But by bhakti, engaging in devotional service to Krishna, then that tendency to worship Krishna as the cause of all causes, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, develops more and more. And then at one point the devotee is not even interested any longer. He also renounces that jnana, that process of intellectually understanding things. He's not at one point not interested any longer. He's just because he already accepted the fact that Krishna is the cause of everything. He is causing everything, he's arranging everything, he's controlling everything, he's supervising everything. He already accepted that. So what is left? Just surrender to Krishna. Hare Krishna. So these were my thoughts today. Yes. And what was it as far as traveling around, adventures and things? I don't like to talk so much about myself. Anything related to myself, a little bit boring for me. So I always prefer to talk about great personalities. We should follow in their footsteps. Srila Prabhupada's adventures. Prefer to talk about that. No, just imagine what Srila Prabhupada did. There was nothing about Krishna consciousness in America, the Western world, when Prabhupada came there. Just nothing. And just one person, what kind of incredible determination, conviction, faith Srila Prabhupada had. Single-handedly. You will see the entire society, nobody practiced Krishna consciousness. They were all absorbed, involved in all these sinful activities, and single-handedly just sat down, chanted Hare Krishna, and so many things developed. It was unbelievable. We have a hard time to maintain one temple, isn't it? Just one small place, we have a hard time. And Srila Prabhupada, just in a few years, Krishna consciousness spread all over the world. Unbelievable. This is what we should be interested in. Srila Prabhupada's pastimes and adventures. And it was not easy. That would be a wrong explanation. Srila Prabhupada did everything, just happened. No. He was struggling, he was fighting. And Krishna arranged it so that we can follow that example, because we are in that position. Whatever we try to do is so difficult. And then we can take example from Srila Prabhupada. He also underwent so many difficulties. The manuscript he was typing day and night, and then it stole. All the manuscripts were gone, his typewriter stolen. So many difficulties. He was living in the, where was it? In the Bronx, I think. Bowery. You know, if you go there, such a low-class place. You know, thieves and homeless people and everything is dirty. Srila Prabhupada is tolerated, push on. He himself mentioned sometimes he went to the harbor, you know, thinking maybe we should just go back to India. When is the next ship going? He was contemplating. So difficult. But still he didn't give up. So that's the example for us. Although sometimes very difficult, we have to tolerate, go on, continue, and Krishna will reciprocate. As long as we try, there will always be a result. Isn't that best practical? As long as we try, there will always be a result. But once we stop trying, everything is lost, finished, stops. Always have to go on, endeavor, try, result will come. And if we are sincere, the result at one point will be beyond our expectation. We cannot figure out, wow, Krishna is just overwhelming me with all these amazing results. But even if no result is coming, it doesn't matter, at least for our own purification, we practice. Right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he mentioned that even if there's nobody there to listen to your Krishna conscious explanation, you talk to the wall, and then the echo will enter your ears and you become purified. What is the loss? What is the loss? All Krishna conscious nihabi pramana sosti Bhaktivaibhava vitate svalpam abhyasa dharmasya trayate mahdubhaya. There's no loss, no diminution on this path. You never lose. As long as you traverse on the path of Krishna consciousness, you will never lose. Always gain. That's the difference between Krishna conscious life and materialistic life. The non-devotees, every day they're losing. They think they gain. A little bit more money, but factually they're just walking toward death. You know, like a frog. There's a snake with an open mouth, patiently waiting. And then the frog is jumping toward the snake. You're thinking, oh, I'm so strong. See how far I can jump. In the next jump I will prove to you, I will even a little bit further jump. He thinks he makes progress. Good exercise, jumping. But factually the frog is losing, not gaining anything. So that's the life. With every sunrise and sunset, Bhagavatam states, one day is lost. One day closer to death. That's the reality. They always criticize devotees that you're just, black painting life, you're so pessimistic. No, we are not pessimistic. We are realistic. There's a difference between pessimism and realism. We are realistic. This is a fact, that everybody has to die, and you hold whatever you do, all your accomplishments, you will lose at one point, gone. And then what will happen then? Krishna consciousness, every day you gain, because you get closer and closer and closer to Krishna, to liberation, returning home back to Godhead, you only gain. That's the difference.
So how can we be sure that we are doing the thing that is pleasing Krishna? Prabhupada once said that we will feel some satisfaction within, but I know that we have a different kind of, we have different understandings of satisfaction. So how can we be sure? How can we be sure that we are actually doing what is pleasing Krishna to our capacity?
We always need guidance. Guidance in Krishna consciousness. Like a Srila Prabhupada, he was sure. This is why he stated often that he never felt alone. He always felt the presence of the spiritual master. And either in dreams or according to Srila Prabhupada's realization, sometimes Krishna himself revealed to him, yes, we are very, very pleased. You go on like this. So that guidance we always require. And when we are not on that platform, then we need guidance from someone. Our own spiritual master, of course, if he is still physically present. Other senior Vaishnavas, devotees, advanced devotees, they can confirm, they can give us this confirmation. Yeah, actually you're doing quite nice. You're doing well. But if you don't have that guidance, a little difficult. You cannot be really sure unless you're on that, in the self-realized platform. And still, even then, you will receive confirmation. If we don't receive confirmation on that platform, then we require practical physical confirmation from some advanced devotee. Either our own spiritual master, senior devotees, advanced devotees, they have to confirm it. You're doing nice, you're doing well. I'm quite sure that your spiritual master, if he's not present, will be very, very pleased with you. Sometimes we hear blessings. When you receive blessings, confirmation, blessings, wonderful, you're doing great, continue. You need any help, any assistance? And it's sort of confirmation, it looks like I'm doing okay. Then that's another test, not to become proud. Yes, exactly, more, praise me more. Finally somebody understands me. So how to remain humble at the same time, to be successful but also very, very humble. And without Krishna, without mercy of Guru and the Vaishnavas, I cannot do anything. That feeling should always be there. I will be useless. Without them, I'm just useless. That feeling must be there. Then you become more and more empowered.
Arunara Swami once said, he says in his book something nice, that every blessing there comes also a test. And Krishna seems to also help us balance out.
Yeah. Internal guidance, external guidance. It will be there. Krishna will not leave a devotee in ignorance. He will always, what is that verse? Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam pradami buddhi yogankam. Krishna will always, he will not leave or let the devotee in ignorance. He will give him knowledge. Why should the devotees be in ignorance? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Why? Krishna will help. He will provide that knowledge that he knows.